Hey, this week, let's talk about how to hack time management. This is some question I get all the time. It's like, hey, Joel, how do I get more time and back in my life? Like, I'm just so busy and I never have enough time to get anything done. And I get it. I'm like all of you. I work 60 hours a week just to work my regular job, and then on the side I'm doing things like this. I'm doing videos, and it's like, how do I be an amazing dad? How am I going to be an amazing husband and yet manage all these things in my day-to-day activities? I mean, it's honestly, it's just ridiculous. And how do we get that time back? I mean, I need more time too. So how do we do this? I mean, many of us are, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and then I go to the gym for an hour, I come back, I have to make my kids breakfast, then I take them off to school, then I go to work. 8 hours later, I come home, it's 5 o'clock, now I gotta make dinner, I gotta put my kids to bed, and my day's over. It's just rinse, repeat. I mean, right? You're just doing the same thing over and over, and then the end of the week comes, your weekends, and now what are you doing? You're making up for lost time. You're sleeping in, and then your kids are tugging on you in the morning saying, hey, wake up, well, I want to go play. And at the end of the day, you're like, well, what do I have to show for it? Like, I haven't done anything. Like, I'm just living this life and this routine, rote kind of schedule. And for a lot of you, it's like, this is not fulfilling. This is not what I signed up for in life. I need more time. If I just had more time, I would be able to do certain things on the side. Well, let me tell you, that's probably not going to happen. But I've got 6 big ideas of how we can get that time back, okay? And get you living that more fulfilled life where you feel like, hey, okay, I'm in control of my time. Like, I'm actually doing what I want to do. So the first big principle is you got to learn to say no. It's so obvious, but I mean, none of us are doing this, right? We're letting other people dictate our life. Text messages come on, bing, and we're like, oh, who was that? Let me check. I gotta check. Oh, it's just so and so. He said he's here. Bing, and it's like, oh, that was my Facebook. Yeah. Guess. Joel just checked into the restaurant. Bing, oh, someone liked my Instagram. I mean, we're all over the map, and we're wondering like, well, how do I get more time? It's like, well, I don't know. Probably put down your phone for one. And I have that problem. So my wife's gonna watch this video and say, yeah, if anybody needs to put down your phone, it's probably you. But what I'm saying is, hey, we need to learn to say no more often. I'm a huge people pleaser. I love to people please. And you're going to have to learn to give that up. Okay? You got to give it up, because if you're a people pleaser, then you're not living for yourself and you're not in control of what it is you really want to do. Right? So give that up. Learn to say no. Just be definitive, with your schedule, be someone who's like, hey, no, I need to get this done, and, set some kind of like guidelines. Hey, I'm not going to answer my phone when it's just ringing off the hook. Like, this hour for me is family time. I'm going to be a dad for this hour. And then I have my set time where I'm going to do something else. And there's this phrase that I like that Derek Sivers says, and he says, if it's not a hell yeah, then it's a no. So think about that, right? Think about like, if something doesn't gravitate to you like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to do that, then it's probably a no. And if you start living your life that way, you'll probably do a good job of kind of mitigating out or kind of weeding out the things that are not really that important, and only really focusing on things that you really, really need to do, right? So learn to say no. Then the second big idea is you want to live in the now. You want to live in the present moment, right? We talk about this all the time is, I need to be more present in life. I need to be here right now, just being with you, right? I can't be, if I'm living in the past, then I'm just dwelling on things that already happened to me. Or I'm living in the future and I'm worried about things. And you're thinking probably like, well, I don't really know how that's buying me more time, but it actually is. Because if you're living in the past, then your mind, your body, you're so consumed with something that already happened. Like, get over it. You need to be here right now. You need to move forward. You can't be worrying about that stuff. Like, it is sucking your time from you because you're so consumed by it. Or you're living in the future, right? You're thinking about, oh, these things that I gotta do, and that's consuming you as well. So you gotta live in the now. And you want to get your time back, then you need to be like, hey, I'm here right now and I'm getting these things done. If you're not doing that, then you're worried about something that either already happened or is gonna happen. So you want to get your time back? Live in the now. Third big idea, obvious one, but you probably want to do a media fast. You know, since my son was born, he's 3.5 years old, I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspapers. And for many of you, you're going to say, well, you're an idiot. Like, you should be concerned about, like, what's happening. I mean, did you know that Trump is, he's trying to ban sanctuary cities? I mean, did you know that Obama did this? Yeah, I mean, eventually I find out. You know, people tell me. And I'm not that retarded that I never look at anything in the news. But it doesn't consume me. Like, I'm not, kind of like Pavlov's dog, where I wake up, I turn on the news, the TV, or I'm reading the newspaper, and it's like, I gotta see all these things. I mean, the bottom line is, I don't know if many of you know this, but the news is geared towards, bad news. It's towards negative news. Why? Because they want to get reactions from you. They want you to come back. They know that if they can trigger you in this state of fear or flight, that you're in a state of worry, and then you rely on the news again because you got to get your hit, right? You got to get your news fix. So I just don't pay attention to that. And, if you really think about it, for most of you, and I'm saying for most of you, not all of you, but for most of you, like the President of the United States, he's probably not affecting your life personally. Like, it feels that way sometimes. Like, oh my God, you're not going to believe what he did. I mean, what did he do that is, like, affecting your life? I mean, did anything really change for you? Probably not, but you want to talk about it. You want to be consumed by this. Like, oh, I can't believe, like, something's got to happen. We should impeach this guy. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, whoever the president is, it can be Stalin, it can be whoever. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to go out and do it. I'm going to go out and make money. I'm going to go out and inspire people. I'm going to go out and change the world regardless who the president is. And that's the attitude you need to have. You got to be, who cares about some of this stuff that's going around you? It really doesn't affect you. And for some of you, I know it does. So keep that in mind. I'm a realist. Okay, the number 4 big idea is you got to put it in your calendar. And this is something that actually really just changed my life around, because if it's not in your calendar, then it's not going to happen. And I'm talking about, like, everything. Once you have kids, and parents, I know you know this, your world is just spinning. I mean, you cannot keep track of what's going to happen the next day. I mean, these guys just consume your every moment. So you need to be, like, vigilant about how you manage your time and your calendar. And I mean, down to, like, the minute, down to the hour. You need to be like, hey, this Friday is date night. We're having set days, set family days. These are my hours that I'm going to be working, but on this day is the time where we're going to go out as a family. We're going to connect. Same thing for vacations. I know a lot of people, at the beginning of the year, they're like, okay, hey, where are we going to go this year? They're planning it out, a year, 6 months in advance, because if they don't do it, then they don't take a vacation. So you need to be just on your calendar. And if you want something to get done, it needs to be in your calendar. Like, hey, I'm doing this. Even silly things like I said, like date nights or just connecting with people or anything, right? It needs to be in your calendar. So think about that. The next big idea is you need to take regular breaks. And it sounds contradictory. Like, I'm trying to get more time back in my life. I'm not trying to be lazy and taking breaks. But the problem is, for many of us, we're getting worn down and worn out. And a lot of studies have shown that, you don't really have the capacity or the mindset to be focused for more than like 25 minutes, where you start to kind of decline. So if it were me, I'd say, hey, every 25 minutes or so, take a 5-minute break. Connect with the breath. Take 5 minutes and just breathing through your stomach, breathing, connecting maybe with your heart. A lot of us we're just breathing in our chest, right? We're breathing up here because we're so tight, we're so constricted that we're not getting that blood oxygenation. So if we just take a break, take 5 minutes, breathe into the stomach, oxygenate the blood, and then you'll be resilient and energized. And then the next 25 minutes, the next half an hour, you're just going to be crushing it. So set some breaks. Set 25-minute breaks, 5-minute breaks. Set an hour break, but you need to be doing regular breaks. And I know for a lot of us, if you're not a big meditator, like sometimes it's hard for me to just sit still and do nothing and breathe. It's like this is not helping me. Okay, well then go do something. Go jump on a pull-up bar and do some pull-ups. Go do a couple set of burpees. I mean that same kind of movement is going to give you those endorphins, right? To kind of change your body, change your state, as we say. And then you come back for the next 25 minutes, the next hour a lot harder. So just remember to take regular breaks. And then the last big idea is, this is kind of a bonus one. I'm going to talk about your exercise. A lot of us, like I said, you wake up at 5 a.m. and then you go to the gym for an hour. But it's like, what are you doing? You're doing 60 minutes of what? Elliptical? It's probably not the best way you could be managing your time with exercise. You probably want to do something like what we call HIIT training or burst training, where you're doing high intensity movements for a short period of time and then taking minimal breaks. And the reason for that is these 60 minutes of cardio that everyone's doing, we found it really doesn't really move the needle for you. A lot of you are trying to go to the gym to lose weight, or you're just trying to get more energy in your life, and that kind of 60-minute of just boring kind of one note cardio, it's not really challenging your system, and it's not what has been shown to grow new mitochondria. And the mitochondria are your power plants in your cells. So if you build more mitochondria, in essence, you're going to get more energy, more power. So in order to do that, they've shown HIIT training, or like I said, high intensity training. You've seen probably Tabata is a big one, right? Where you do 20 seconds of work, 20 seconds of exercise, and then you do 10 seconds of rest and recovery. And you do that for 8 rounds. And you just repeat the same movement. You can do burpees, pull-ups, push-ups, anything like that. So that has been shown to actually stimulate the mitochondria, or your power plants in your cells. So that's kind of a bonus one that probably a lot of us don't really think about. But imagine if you cut your exercise out from 60 minutes and you're only doing what I do a lot of days, because I don't have time. I'm doing 4 minutes of Tabata, but I'm going hard. I'm going all out, right, to build those power plants. So those are the 6 big ideas, right? Learn to say no, right? Live in the now, being present. Take maybe a media fast is number 3. Number 4, put things in your calendar, right? If it's not in your calendar, it's not going to happen. The 5th big idea, regular breaks. We got to continue that renewal cycle so that we're always fresh. We're always ready to start again. And then the last one is, you may want to modify your exercise routine. You could probably get the same effect from 4 minutes to 10 minutes of exercise than that hour that you're spending in the gym wasting time. All right? I'll see you next week. Thanks.